Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yeah.
Hard to beat the ease of the modern era in streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your house, but there was something truly special about stopping at Blockbuster, picking out a movie by hand, and then using the money you made off of selling your jousting trophies to pay your late fees before you checked out. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who have been weighed, measured, and found wanting. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are you?
Found wanting. Yeah, I want stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. I don't know why that is. That some like weird 18th?
This is like the 100th.
Ninth century.
Yeah.
Yeah, ninth.
Oh, ninth. Yeah. Okay.
9th century.
Is that some weird insult that I don't get?
Yeah.
Is it bad to want stuff?
Yeah.
Back then?
Ooh.
That means you want it, but you're not powerful enough to obtain it.
Oh,
you can't-
motherfucker!
You can't
Yeah.
get it.
Really got him then.
Like you're still wanting because you're not good enough.
he's just fucking Jasper, dude.
Nailed him to the fucking wall.
We're gonna call him Jasper the whole
Hell
episode.
yeah.
aren't
That's
we? Okay.
all in my notes. Is he's just Jasper.
All right, good, noted. My boys, on today's episode, we discuss a movie nominated for 3 MTV Movie Awards and 5 Teen Choice Awards.
Hell yeah!
Banger.
Thank God we got a good movie this week. God.
A movie that taught us all that you can change your stars and live a better life. Our very first Heath Ledger movie. We're, of course, talking about 2001's A Knight's Tale.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Whoa. If you are new to this podcast, we're going to be reviewing A Knight's Tale, scene by scene, with pure modern eye. But what we feel is necessary is in order to get the proper, modern day eye watch, we got to talk about what's nostalgic first.
Yeah.
We got to understand what we were thinking back in 2001 when we first saw this. So I'm going to go to AJ. AJ, first time you saw this movie, what were your thoughts about it?
I was stoked on this movie. It makes so much sense. There's like MTV Awards and Kids' Choice Awards. Like, yeah, it was my choice for sure.
Yeah, I made that choice.
I made that choice time and time again. I loved watching it. Like, it would come up on like TBS, A Knight's Tale on TBS. We know drama funny. I don't know. But I was like, I thought it was like the coolest thing. I don't know what about it. This is a movie that I think I've said it before. This is a movie that I should not like because it does something that we'll get to that I've always hated is they have music that is not from the time played in a movie, but this is one of the very few exceptions that I was like enthralled with it. Loved Heath Ledger, obviously. Thought he was awesome. And then Shannon Soseman, like I thought was like, oh man, like she's so hot, dude.
I should marry her.
Yeah, totally. It was just classic story. I loved it, man. It was so good. It was funny. Yeah, this was. I'm gonna give this a 9.
Niner from Ager. Sean, what about you, man?
I think I rented this on my friend Jordan. We probably watched this after.
Jordan, do you just want to come on the show,
We
man?
should.
Like, do
Jordan,
you
if
just
you want, I'll
We're
just
hitting-
not do it anymore.
We're hitting all these movies that we watched
can-
together.
You do
know,
it.
all we need to do now is Blue Streak.
Yeah. Blue Streak.
So I mean, like it was like movies like Blue Streak and this that we just always watch all the time. And I loved Heath Ledger, loved the music in it, and yeah, it's just Rocky. So yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8. I liked it a lot.
8 for Sean. So there was this girl that I liked in college. Liked her a lot. And
What was her name?
I'm
Full
not
name.
I ain't saying that.
Earn a number.
Nope, ain't saying
Carolyn.
Got you.
that. I know she's not listening, but she very much one day told me how madly in love she was with Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger.
Oh.
And how like he's the cutest guy ever, and then you start hearing all this MTV heartthrob like that. I hated Heath Ledger for the fact of him just being a heartthrob, and I didn't. I said this before. I didn't think he was a good actor. I thought it was just It's just because he's hot. That's why.
He's just a cute. He can smile well.
Same thing with John Mayer. It's like, John Mayer's a terrible musician. Listen to this. And you just don't realize that they are getting typecast for being hot or playing Your Body's Wonderland. But I never realized how good Heath Ledger was until Dark Knight. So I've been in the process of like going back to Heath Ledger things because I've never seen this on purpose. I didn't want to see a movie
You've never seen A Night's Tale
that had We Will Rock You in it, in a movie about jousting. I saw the trailer. I said, never, not a chance. I've never seen A Night's Tale.
Wow.
So
you should watch Ned Kelly next.
Ned Kelly's next?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's pretty good in that. Yeah.
I saw The Patriot.
Of course.
Patriot.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go to Michael Guiliano. He is executive producer on this show. He said, hey, so you know how I specifically picked this movie for you guys to review? This was his, as an executive producer, he picked this movie, made us watch it.
Yeah, daddy.
This is going to be an NA for me.
Whoa.
Let me explain.
Wait a second.
After you guys did Gladiator, it put me on a kick of action movies for a few weeks. Gladiator led me to Master and Commander, which led me to 3:10 to Yuma, a brief detour for A Beautiful Mind, and then to The Patriot, which made me think, have I ever actually seen Heath Ledger in anything besides The Dark Knight and The Patriot? I don't think so. At the same time, on TikTok, I came across a Mythical Kitchen interview they did with Alan Tudyk. Tudyk, is that how you say it?
I think so.
Yeah. Where he talked about his time filming A Knight's Tale and how fun it was and how nice of a person Heath was to him on set, despite barely knowing him. Put all these things happening at the same time together, and there you have it. I'm in the perfect mood to suddenly want to watch this 21-plus-year-old movie. I know it has a huge cult following, so I'm excited to see what the hype's about. So, just looking at your guys' ratings, that's an 8.5 on the old executive producer rating, which is going to take us fairly high. Believe it or not, nothing else has been at 8.5. This is going to be the 27th spot, just below Rookie of the Year, just above Three Ninjas is how we're going to feel about this one.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Good for you, Michael. Like, that's a noble thing for you to
He
do.
used his choice to say, I'd like to watch something I've never seen before.
Bold, yes.
So we'll see what we think. We're going to strip away all of Sean and AJ's nostalgia, and we're going to do it with a modern eye. So first we got to go to Sean, learn all the important details of the movie. What do you got on this one?
Produced by Tim Van Rellum, Brian Helgeland, and Todd Black. Music by Carter Burwell. Cinematography by Richard Greatrex. Greatrex?
Okay.
Edited by Kevin Stitt.
Nice.
Kevin Stitt.
Ah.
Kind of fun.
Ah.
Written and directed by Brian Helgeland. Cast: Heath Ledger, Rufus Sewell, Shannon Sossaman, Paul Bettany, Laura Fraser, Mark Addy, Alan Tudyk. And to remember how to say Alan Tudyk, I think you gotta have
Two dicks.
well, you gotta have the Goodfellas scene where he's naming off all the and Jimmy Two Times and Alan Tudyk because he's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
two
yeah,
dicks.
yeah. Gotcha.
Bernice Bejo,
Not to
James.
be confused with Jimmy One Dick.
Thank you.
Eh,
Yes.
eh.
James Purefoy, Christopher Casanova, and Lee Conwell. Director Brian Helgeland was more known as a screenwriter in L.A., writing some fairly lower-budget movies, including Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 976 Evil. He would eventually win an Oscar for his script for L.A. Confidential. Helgeland wanted to get into directing, and after a few television episodes, would finally get his chance at his first feature, which was Payback, starring Mel Gibson. That film would end up being a huge debacle. Look it up. We're going to cover it one of these days. But if you want to go look it up right now, it's a crazy story. They pretty much kind of threw him off the movie, and but his name's still on it. They got a different director. Mel Gibson was an asshole. Look it up. It's fascinating.
What?
That would sour Helgeland from directing for a while. While looking for what to do next, Helgeland went through his various notes for ideas for films and came across one that was about jousting, and what stood out in particular was the idea that you had to be noble in order to compete in the games. That was all Helgeland needed to expand upon his idea and wrote a feature screenplay. Helgeland took his script out for financing, and Sony bought it almost immediately. Paul Walker was initially considered for William Thatcher. Shannon Sossaman was a DJ and was discovered by A Knight's Tale casting director when she was performing at Gwyneth Paltrow's brother's birthday party. Shout out Gwyneth. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Shout out.
Got a
babe.
message from Goop Podcast saying we should go on, and it's real. It's happening.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Goop.
Thanks, Goop.
This is her first film role for Shannon Sossaman. Daniel Craig came close to the role of Count Adhemar, but director Helgeland wanted somebody with dark hair that would contrast with Heath Ledger's blonde.
Good call.
So Rufus Sewell was cast. While Brian Helgeland directed the movie, especially the scenes with the characters, but most of the scenes involving jousting and the crowd reacting to the games were directed by second unit director Alan Graff, who was a professional football player. Graff had experience with shooting football games as well, which made him the perfect person to shoot all the pickup scenes involving the crowd chanting, vendors, and the lush slow motion action shots. A Knight's Tale was shot primarily in Prague, and most of the cast and crew moved there for a short time to complete the production. The cast and crew also had a great time filming this movie, as most of them were relatively unknown and about to pop off into superstardom, so pressure was very low for them. Helgeland recalled that most of the time, as the creator, you remember the time that you had making the movie more than the movie or story itself. He also stated that when that happens, it makes the movie better because it feels like the creators are having fun. That trickles down into the audience, he said he felt. A Knight's Tale was released on May 11, 2001, and on a budget of $65 million, the film made a modest return of $117.5 million at the box office and has gone on to become a cult favorite.
Well, thanks, Sean. Up next, we got to go to AJ. He does the research for us. We got to learn what the critics and fans thought about this. What do you got on this, dude?
Yes! Behold my Lord Tomato Meter.
Tomato.
The Rock, the hard place. Like a wind from Gelderland, he sweeps by, blown far from its homeland on the internet, in search of glory and honor. We walk in the garden of its turbulence.
It's the Tomato Meter.
The Tomato Meter!
New year, new AJ. I hope you're
Wow.
loving it out there, Confused
Shot out of a
Breakfast.
cannon.
It's the Tomato Meter.
It's the Tomato. It's the Tomato Meter.
It's tomato. 59% splat! Fuck! Oh, jeez, that thing is
Jesus
weird.
Christ.
That thing's wild. I'm so sorry. You try it.
You try throwing a
a
sacky
floppy
ball
sack.
Oh yeah, you
Doesn't
gotta
stick
Yeah.
anymore.
because it like
Yep.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
it goes through your fingers if you're trying to grip it.
yeah.
It'll just kind of.
This is
No,
for the
we
YouTubes,
get it.
guys.
We get
It's
it.
for the YouTubes.
All right, 59% splat.
Very rare to find a spot all alone, but this one found it. 59% is going to put it just below American Pie, just above Cutting Edge for any movie we've done.
Wow.
Kind of feels okay
Thank
around
God.
there somewhere.
Thank God for above cutting edge. 79% on the esteemed popcorn meter. 79%. 7.0.
We're never going to make a soundbite for that because it's just too fun to watch AJ do it.
I've been practicing.
And give no context
I
as
know.
to what noise is.
As you know.
7.0, that's our 20th movie that falls in right at a 7.0 on IMDb. That's 9.5% of all the movies we've done have been a 7. 7 means movie. That means, I don't know, 7.
That's a 7.
It's better than average, but it's not a 10.
No,
7.
never will be.
Let's see. We had some people chime in on good, bad. What do you want? We've got Jay Carr. He says, A Knight's Tale will either repel you or win you over. It won me over. That was Jay Carr.
Right on.
75 out of 100. Let's see. New York Daily News. Well, with its cheerful hailstorm of anachronisms, I think I said that right.
Anachronism.
Anachronisms, sorry. And classic rock soundtrack, there's nothing medieval about it. It's a 7.5. The Miami Herald, Renee Rodriguez, said a Middle Ages Rocky that spares no cliches in its unduly long 2.25 hours. And Seattle Post Intelligencer, it's a weird word. It just said the film's one saving grace is Ledger. That's it.
Okay.
How about the people who thought that this was just awesome? 10 out of 10. Beautiful story and full of laughs, said Spencer Torrance. 2024. This is pretty recent. In December. I have enjoyed this more every time I watch it. The actors and actresses are wonderful. Costumes and horses are very nice, and the sets are fabulous. I have never noticed anything out of place, though I am sure there is stuff. Heath Ledger is amazing. Alan Tudyk is one of my favorite comedic actors. Such a treat. The storyline is good, full of twists. The vile villain is a good one. It's been weighed, it has been measured, and it has been found to be excellent.
Whoa.
Hey-o.
Nice.
Good job.
There are so few good historical movies, especially with this amount of comedy. Paul is also very lovely. They're on a first-name basis.
Of course.
Such a great group. Thank you for reading through this. It is a great movie. They describe the movie like my wonderful mother would describe like me and my friends hanging out. They're a great group.
Great group.
It was just a great group.
They're nice.
Nice young boys.
They're good. You know, they're out there having fun. I believe they are. One person just called this movie bad poop. That was in 2013. Warning, spoilers. I'll just try and get through some of this. A Knight's Tale is not an effective film because of the non-convincing themes, non-period costumes, not real feeling use of contemporary day elements. Non-convincing themes failed to keep me on the edge of my seat or emotionally attached at all. There's just not much about. I don't want to read your whole thing. Your thing. I don't get your thing. Okay, Avery Cook. Write a shorter one. Like this person. 1 out of 10. Avery Cook should take some pointers from Orange Juice Blues. In 2005, this movie was very annoying. Heath Ledger is the typical underdog character, in this case, a knight, surrounded by his bumbling assistants, trying to win a tournament that you will not care about, and trying to win the heart of a girl you will not care about. The story has no human emotional value. The characters are just not very likable, and the dialogue is just stupid. I know it was purposely supposed to be tongue-in-cheek and whatnot, but the level of satire here is about as subtle as a third-rate Nickelodeon sketch comedy show, such as All That. The writers are of Saved by the Bell caliber. This movie is very annoying. It attempts to be cute, silly, rock version of medieval times. It was a drain on my intelligence. Heath Ledger is terrible. He basically reprises persona from 10 Things I Hate About You. Paul Bettany, comic relief, only for my bowels. I fucking hate this shit. Why do I have to do this section every time, guys?
Man, you pick them out, dude.
I know.
A simple I didn't like it would have done, but that's okay.
Like this guy, 1 out of 10. Awful.
Good job.
See, there you go.
Poop. Bad poop.
I think this movie was dreadful, and I recommend those of you who haven't seen this not to see it. Great. We're supposed to be from the Middle Ages. You've got Lowrider, We Will Rock You. These should not have been in the movie.
You don't say.
Movie's been is very predictable. It's a very original way to build a story. Example. I think you meant unoriginal. In the beginning, he sucks at what he's doing. He gets better and better. He performs badly again, but comes back and wins. Yeah, I mean, it's called a theme, guy. All right, the acting was poor at times, bad lines all over. Movie truly deserves a spot at 100 worst movies ever. 1 out of 10. All right.
Wow.
So, well, the people that we actually care about, guys, the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers, there's some folks in there.
Patreon.com/ConfusedBreakfast. Bonus episodes, voting on upcoming movies. You get the top tier here. You get to get your name and review read on the show.
That sounds pretty cool.
Not
freaking amazing.
Not unlike Mr. Jarrett Layoff. William! This movie is just fun. It came out around the time I was listening to all the songs featured. True underdog story. I have not watched it in a while to give an accurate modern day, but I feel that some of the modern day references would make me audibly roll my eyes. Nostalgic 8.7. We've got a prop. We got a punchable face. He also has a confusey, Sean.
Hey, okay.
I'll give it to you later.
All right.
My lords, my ladies, and everybody else out there not sitting on a cushion, today you find yourself equals, for you are all equally blessed with a new podcast episode for your ears. For I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure of introducing you to a modern-day review of a movie that you've loved since 2001. delivered by a podcast who can trace their lineage back to the dark times of the COVID plague. You first heard them in a basement in Swisher, Iowa, talking about black flame candles, virgins, and hocus pocus. Then you later heard them praising the name Steve Kooser while spitting fury upon the name Dave Morgan. In Astoria, they spent the day inside Mikey's house just to better understand what it meant to be a Goonie. And so without further gliding the lily and no more ado, I give to you the seekers of fan theories, the protectors of the trench coat trinity, the enforcers of our Lord God and Savior John Candy, the one, the only, the Confused Breakfast, reviewing A Knight's Tale. Here we go.
Yeah.
Rubble, rubble, rubble.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
God, I'm good.
Scene 1, set in late medieval Europe in the mid-14th century, the story begins with William, Roland, and Wat discovering their master, Sir Ector, dead in the middle of a jousting tournament. William takes the armor and poses as a noble to finish the match. Although inexperienced, he wins the tournament and convinces Wat and Roland to use their winnings to continue competing. After much practice, Will is able to joust properly and therefore ready to compete.
The spark of his life is smothered in shite.
Smothered in shite.
What do you mean, dead?
Dead.
His spirit is gone, but his stench remains.
Stench remains.
Does that answer your question? Dude, how good are these three?
Someone said in there is Heath Ledger's the only reason that makes this movie work. It's not whatsoever.
Far from it.
He's the shining light for sure, but what makes this movie is these guys' friendship and their banter. It's so fun to watch.
Sean, right away I'm like, oh my God, why have I not seen this movie? Literally, that's me in the first 5 minutes going, yes. Because I didn't care to really know what it was. I just turned it on.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've got amazing Heath Ledger coming into his own now, Mark Addy as Roland, Alan Tudyk as Watt, like so early in his career. Mm-hmm. These guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Their chemistry is a perfect example of like 3 points of a triangle, the dynamic that they bring, one who's obsessed with needing to eat something, the other one who's like level-headed enough to be like, well, we got to get through this, and then you have the person who's going to really try to change their stars.
Yeah.
It's great. They are the base of the triangle, and then you have Heath Ledger at the top, and it starts out so well in their back and forth and their banter.
Did they say he shat himself to death?
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Is that just a medieval thing? Like
maybe he got the Black Plague.
Ooh.
Maybe he got the bubonic.
The bubonic.
Some buboes on his butt.
I don't like that.
What's funny to me is that like they had to stop mid joust competition so he could take a shit.
Oh my God! And as you notice in the movie, they never stop. They just keep going until someone wins. He's like, "Gotta go."
Really, he died a king's death because that's how Elvis died.
Right on the throne.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but like even the little things are pretty funny in this opening scene. He's like, come on, let's have him, and he plugs his nose with the same things.
Right,
it's just silly things.
left.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, and it's also a nice fast way to get our hero on the horse.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's just a nice fast way to get it done.
It's the movie. It kind of takes a gamble here, in my opinion. There, like the script does, especially where we're just kind of thrust into this, like not even like an introduction to anything. It's just this guy's dead, these guys are together, and they got to figure out how to get money because they're hungry as fuck. I don't know. And like I was even watching it, I'm like, does this work for me? They're just being thrust into this. Like I don't know. I
don't know who they are.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
they do. Why are they
here?
I
know that it's Heath Ledger, and I know that they're funny. And by the end of like when he emerges from the hill and he's all shaven, I'm like, yeah, you got me. Like, it does work, and it's you know what I mean by it's kind of a gamble where like this movie just kind of throws you into it, and it's just like, well, either you're on board or not.
Yeah, and it's like, well, strip his armor. I'm going to put on his armor, and like he's not good at jousting.
No.
And by the way, you saw in the like kind of one of the opening scenes, like the very first joust, it's in between the where it's giving the background.
Yeah.
In between there, you can see it's like that was like Sir Ector taking a blow to the head, and so, but in reality, that actually happened, and it was
It was a stunt. It's Heath's stunt double.
It was Heath's stunt double taking a blow to the head and getting knocked unconscious.
And them halting filming for like the entire day.
Yeah.
And they're like, intro.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? That looks great. Let's keep
It
that.
sure did. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I like jousting.
Yeah. Oh, I think I could be into this. This looks fun. I want to go to one of those like medieval times, and I want to eat a mutton leg and watch people joust and knights fight.
Well, Sean, if you say they took a gamble on just the plot, they then took another giant gamble to say we're gonna play "We Will Rock You" by Queen here, and not only are we just gonna play it, but we're gonna imply that there's literally a loud system playing Queen "We Will Rock You" where everyone can hear it and everyone is participating in the song. This is the reason I didn't watch the movie is because I'm like, no, you can't do that. You cannot make your tagline, "He will rock you," and then show me a trailer where they're playing "We Will Rock You" to jousting. This comes up, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. But then I literally realized that this is the greatest scene in any movie I've ever seen. I rewound it 27 times because of how amazing every person in that shot was doing the stomp, stomp, clamp. There's one lady in particular, and I will show you the shot. She doesn't know what to do. She's like, and she's like an older, and I guess they got a bunch of like poor people
Is
to
it
just
clap,
be.
clap, stomp?
No, she just
What's
goes.
going on?
And she changes it every time. Oh my God, you got her. They said they brought in like poor people to be extras, so I'm assuming she was.
From Prague. A lot of them didn't speak English.
No.
A lot of them were, they were, they didn't have a lot they were poor, they didn't have a lot of money, whatever. They just brought them in and
She's unbelievable. Then you had the couple people that just go, "We will rock," where they clapped all 3 times. Then you had a couple guys where they didn't have anything to boom, boom, clap on, but they were still boom, booming in the air. Unbelievable. I could watch, this is like magic on TV. I could watch this for the rest of my life, just this scene, because of how great the extras are in it.
It really works still.
It does.
This is a thing where it's like it could take you out, and like if you get to this scene and then "We Will Rock You" and you realize that they are actually doing this and they're probably going to be doing this for the rest of the movie, you're like, I don't know, man, I can't handle this.
I don't think I can do this.
Or you're like, this really fucking works, and I still think it does. And they make it a part of the movie where it's like, yeah, that is a tangible thing for like a crowd to do, to make that noise and to sing that themselves, not that they're like listening to it maybe, but then like the guitar comes in and it's like supposed to be the horn,
right.
It works.
And then they cut and the horn player stop blowing the horn.
Yeah.
So beforehand, you're 100% right. This should be something that I like, oh, click, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is stupid. And there's no reason for it to work. And I didn't know this beforehand. I literally read this after watching it like my second time for the review. It's I was like, this should not work. And then the director, Brian Helgeland, he said, well, I wanted to have music because in these old medieval movies, the music that they play, the people are never reacting to it the way that they would react to music back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like today you can just turn on Spotify. To be able to hear music back then, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
To hear somebody playing the lute, it was like a rock show.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And their minds would be blown, right? This time around, it's like, I want it to feel like that, so I put in rock music as if that's how they would respond to it back
he
in the
said
day.
we are incapable of feeling emotion to old music from
Right.
and I agree. I don't want to hear it. It's not. You can't make me feel any way using that music. You can make me feel a way using modern music.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hate on it too, but then I read that, I go, that's fucking brilliant.
I was like, honestly, that's genius. And like the way that they're reacting to it, the fact that they don't know it is what makes it so like honest in their reaction. And then the horns stop when the music stops, and you're just like, that's fun. That's just really
It's
fun.
just
Like that
fun.
one girl who's like kind of dancing, like up
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, whatever, dude.
the 3 drunk guys with their shirts off,
Yeah.
like they're at a sport.
Exactly.
They're at a football match
Yeah.
in England.
It's super funny, It's funny, but it somehow still feels honest.
You can make the argument too. It's like, well, they could like I would have preferred like just an orchestral score over these parts. It's like, well, if that was the thing, a lot of the instruments in an orchestra weren't invented at
Correct.
the
It's
time.
the same thing.
It's like, what are we doing? Like, what do you prefer? Do you want like over outlandish "We'll Rock You" Queen, which is as like British or like around the contemporary to this time in my mind as a band is that you can get.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like a classical band in my mind.
And you're right. The idea of like some of these like stringed instruments, it would be just as outlandish to have that as it would to have this music.
Yeah.
It's just as outlandish of an idea. But we just don't think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what makes it kind of great. And then you just get that, I love you get that hard stop, and you just kind of get this hard introduction into the jousting, and probably what we're going to get a lot of throughout this movie. It's a movie about jousting. We get a pretty decent amount of jousting.
Yeah.
You got to appreciate
Never
that.
gets old.
Yeah.
It's
It
like
doesn't.
the fact that they brought on the guy that like was proficient in sports filming. Oh my god!
Perfect.
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that, because this could have been really bad and really boring if they're just like, yeah, well, that's it. That's just the horse goes and you get them.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
You've seen one.
They're
It's kind of
gonna-
like when you go to see like a drag race.
Yeah.
The first time you see it, you're like, this is you hear it, you're like, wow. And then the second time you're like, yeah, okay. Third time, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've watched it. That's how I feel jousting might probably be if they had not done that good of a job filming it.
Or like NASCAR, like
Same-
in Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that exciting? Because they're just doing one thing. They're just going left.
Turning left.
Turning left, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wins it, and then I thought that was a great scene where his mask is shut and he can't open it. Genius.
Yeah.
Because they would have found him right there and then like executed him or something. But him convincing the other two, because they just want to take their winnings and just go get drunk or something.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like we can be done with this. You guys know that, right? We don't have to like sit here and like carry all this heavy shit. They're basically there's roadies.
Yeah.
You know, they're roadies for this
And
guy.
now they're free.
They're the
Essentially.
pit
They
crew.
Can,
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can just go and.
It's like we don't have to be roadies anymore, guys.
But
like,
what if we were?
But what if we did continue to be roadies?
We could do this.
Yeah.
We could do. A man can change his stars. Some of the lines are really fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say, and they get even cheesier.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also like, I don't care.
You're right. You're right, Heath. I can change my stars
because
dude.
he's so brilliant at delivering
Yes,
it.
He is.
Like he is extremely charming.
It's kind of the same idea of Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
In Gladiator, some of those lines were not great, but the way that they're going to deliver these lines is great, and that's what brings it to life. And this very funny battle, I just love. Like they just resort to everything, just biting him. Damn your stomach lot, like that. It's funny, you know. I don't know. I think it's very heartwarming, and then the training montage.
oh, dude, with his
Lowrider.
lowrider. Yeah, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
fine,
Whatever.
go ahead. Yeah, I just don't care. Sometimes I'll tell you one later. Sometimes I find myself going, fuck, and then it doesn't matter. Like you just get pulled into it right
Yeah.
away.
Yep.
Well, speaking of this movie, well, I guess I'll get to it towards the end. But this movie is like gone in 60 seconds for me. Speaking of Lowrider.
Okay.
Nice.
Where I think Starling said it last week that Lord of the Rings is like a Sunday afternoon movie.
Yeah.
These are Sunday afternoon movies for me. I'm just like, turn it on. I'm fucking hungover as shit, and I need one more beer to make myself right again.
Yeah.
And this movie right now. That's what these movies are.
Hair of the Dog and A Knight's Tale. Just
Yep.
set me straight. That's what I need. Maybe a donut.
There's
I
a
guess.
shirt right there.
All right, scene 2 then. Along the way to the next tournament, they come upon Geoffrey Chaucer. William persuades the writer to fake his patents of nobility, and then William saves Chaucer by paying his debts, and therefore gains Geoffrey's true loyalty. Helped by Chaucer, Watt, and Roland, William begins to win match after match. Kate, the blacksmith, decides to travel with them and work on improving his armor. Paul Bettany?
Paul Bettany, you can bet on him every time.
Bet anytime on Paul.
Just when you think you've got a great dynamic between the three, you add Paul Bettany into this, and he's every scene he's in, he kind of becomes my favorite, to be honest. And especially this, like he strolls out. Like our first introduction to him is a nude scene where he's just walking bare ass,
like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a long standing of him, and there's just a bunch of extras around, and it's like the first thing he shot. And it's just like he's just out there just hanging
dong, dude.
Yeah, so it's pretty great, but I love it. It's like his explanation is like, "What trudging?" He's like, "What's that?" It's like trudging. Well, I mean, there is some nobility in trudging, you know. Trudging means, you know, you're forging on, you know. It's a great little explanation he gives. And then the idea that like, yeah, I'm Geoffrey Chaucer. It's like Geoffrey Chaucer. The writer? The what?
We had a couple. We're big in Sheboygan.
A couple big
really?
hits.
Kenosha Kicker.
Boca.
He's such a literary talent that you can see he's just making all this up as he goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the idea of, I'm just trudging, and when in reality we find out that it was a gambling debt, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why he got
trudge.
stripped, and the fact that he just is able to almost like con them into being like, I'm coming with you, even though he kind of like makes it feel like it's their idea, but he's the one that kind of like makes it happen.
Yeah, it's funny how it comes to fruition.
Yes.
One of them catches one thing, the other catches another, and it's kind of this game of tennis back and forth of, you know, how much do you really want to give away? You know, it's kind of holding your cards close to the chest. They both have to do this at this point, and it's kind of what makes it so honest, even though they're both lying to each other. And I think it's kind of nice. I think it's kind of a cool thing, and like the whole him saying like, well, and he's like, yeah, I did say that. Who are you guys?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, gotcha. I'm under the Lionheart. It's like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm Charlemagne.
He knows
It's
right
just
away.
like-
It's a very clever way for the script to like have him find out that they're bullshit too.
Yeah.
He knew right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because he is so smart. They even say, he asks them where they're going. They say the road to ruin, which is spelled ROUEN, and he immediately catches on to the double meaning, and he says that remains to be seen.
He's like,
they
this is the
say-
road to ruin, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, it remains. Like, I suppose that remains to be seen. You're right. That's
and they don't know. They're like, well, okay, whatever. Like, you know, they don't, because they're saying ruin. Like, of course, the city. That's where we're going.
Yep.
That remains to be seen.
It's a really great back and forth, and then like the overdoing it though too, in front of the like when he's like gotta hit the belt.
That's enough.
He's like 6 generations is more than enough. It's just like,
Well, I gotta say too, the dynamic of Paul Bettany's character and Alan Tudyk.
oh
Yeah.
Of just the contentious like bullshit kind of thing. Betray us, and your entrails will be your extrails.
I will fall you.
Great pain.
Pain.
Lots of pain.
He is the opposite of Chaucer, where he can't talk.
No.
And he doesn't know how
He
to use
wants
his
to.
words. But if he could only describe how much pain he wants to bestow upon him, man, he'd be a great poet. I don't know.
He's such a great character actor. Like, you know, think about all the stuff you've seen him in. He's just something completely new and uniquely different in everything that he's in. He's like, and that, like I said, this was fairly early on in his career, so he's moving on up at this point. And,
Wasn't he the voice in iRobot? Right.
Something recently. I know what you're talking about. Let me
He was
look
like
that
a
up while you're
robot or
going.
something. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's incredible. Anytime he's pops up in something, it's just like, oh yeah, it's probably going to be at least decent because he's in it.
Yeah. It's the gambling thing coming back around. But like this is the first time he really gets to like go and joust, I guess. Is that before? Well, I guess is that before or after he sees Jocelyn or whatever?
I think it's after because he takes his horse into the church. You desecrate the house of God.
Yeah. This guy, I like. You're right. It is after, and he's like kind of singing, and that like he just goes into with his horse into this entire church.
Just
The house of God.
just
Sean,
doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
you nailed it. He was Sonny, the main robot in
Nice.
iRobot.
Wow.
That voice. He was also in Ice Age. And then obviously Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball right
Yeah.
around then, right after all this. So he was on the move after this pretty much, and I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Big
So
role
good.
in Serenity and Firefly, the show
Yep.
Firefly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right in
Huge.
this time frame.
Oh
too.
man, it's so good. He's great. He doesn't do much wrong inside these roles, if anything. And but like the moment of kind of like meeting Jocelyn and like that guy still being like, oh, curse your beauty, it will fade, and then you can properly praise God or whatever. And she's just like, yes, curse this face. Like,
She's really good too, man.
Yeah.
Like as far as being her first movie and DJing Gwyneth Paltrow goop parties. Like this is great. I think she gets some of some of the best lines in this movie later on when they're back in the House of
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I think she's really good. I think she's a standout. I've always loved seeing her in movies because one, she's a beautiful woman, but like she's always great in them. Like there's a movie called Wrist Cutters. It's very underrated.
oh yeah,
That I really love. I really like her in. But yeah, it's really cool to see that she's just out of the gate. This does not seem like her first movie at all.
I agree with you. I'm actually shocked to find that out, that this is her first thing that she's really been in. But because she does this very well, and it's kind of like is she just like the first feminist? She's just like what would you do with my name? And like, oh, well, what am I just supposed to? As a woman, I'm just supposed to be something to look at. Like, what's going on here? It's like, all right, call him out on his bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude, let's go.
This ain't gonna be easy for you, fellow. Like shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you got to talk about Kate as well, the blacksmith Kate,
Oh yeah.
who ends up being a pretty big role. That's played by Laura Frazier, and I'm just looking at her going, "What the? How do I know her? There's a big reason I know her. Did you pick up on anything she's done before?
I was looking at her. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
Oh, she completely is, and it finally hit me. She played Lydia from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, the Madrigal owner towards the end of season 4 and 5. Can you picture what I'm
Lydia.
talking about? Like you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody out there is listening that's a giant Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul fan. She was amazing in that role, and that is how I was like, oh yeah, I know this.
Okay.
Interesting.
Like yeah, she has a face that you feel like you've seen in everything. You know what I mean? And boy, they really downplay her. They try to, at least.
Yeah.
They've got their work cut out for them because it's kind of impossible to do. But it's like, but their interaction's good too, and him going through. But this is also the fun part of like him going back and forth to like the joust and the sword stuff, and that's pretty funny. And same with like you find out Geoffrey Chaucer has a gambling problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally do at this point. He's like, yeah, that's how you found me the first time.
Quite
Yep.
literally take the clothes off your back. And it's like, by the way, those weren't your clothes, bro. We gave you those clothes.
Yeah, they took them, dude. Like those were our pants that we had.
Yeah.
Just our one pair.
Oh, well, I was thinking about it too. I was like, that's a pretty dope jacket that he's
Yeah, it
got
is.
on. But and then you kind of realize later on, it's like that was Sir Ector's.
Was it really?
That had to have been
Oh,
Sir
no.
Ector's.
Oh yeah.
That basically they gave him some of his clothes because like later on you see it like when he's interacting with his dad and as a little kid version, he's got a jacket on. It looks just like that. It's not the same one, I don't think, but it looks very much like that.
Sir Ector's basically in like the minor leagues, right? Like he was not like this giant, awesome. Like they were playing really small town jousting
so,
gigs.
yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't in the big leagues at that point, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is it's it's above beer league.
Yeah,
But,
It's it's professional.
it's-
You can tell your parents that you're pro.
It's like AAA.
Yeah, but
I
you're
see.
you're still riding the bus.
Right.
You're not taking private planes.
Correct. I get you.
It's
Yes.
AHL level shit.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
I have to bring this up because it kind of is a recurring theme that William's kind of a bitch.
Oh. Well.
Like, my armor's loose. Why do we have to do 2 events? We just need to drop out of the sword one. I needed to joust.
This is a mistake.
Frick, dude.
Well, I don't
No.
I don't want to do the sword stuff anymore, but you're really good at it. Well, I don't like
I
it
don't
anymore.
want-
I don't want to.
I don't want to. Gosh, I don't want to play baseball anymore. It's like
we already agreed to do this with you. And like now that we have, like, give us a little something back, man. We want some fucking cash, dude.
You asked for us to coach you, and we're coaching you.
Yeah.
You got to do both events.
He's out here treating it like travel baseball, and like when it was his idea in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Jeez.
So scene 3, after agreeing to draw in a match to preserve his opponent's honor, William meets and falls in love with the noble lady Jocelyn, who's already been noticed by the powerful Count Jasper. We're going to just Count Jasper.
Count Jasper.
Yep. A rivalry develops, and Jasper defeats William in his first tournament. In the following tournament, Jasper withdraws from a match against Sir Thomas Colville due to his hidden identity as Prince. William decides to take him on and wins the tournament along with Edward's respect. I mean, here we go. We got 2 people from The Holiday a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We got Rufus Sewell, who was Jasper, and then obviously Maggie in The Holiday is Jocelyn. I mean, I don't know if you could pick a better bad guy for this movie.
Yeah, he's very good.
He
God, you want to hate him
You
so
love to
much.
hate him.
when I first saw this, I kept thinking it was like an off-brand Clive Owen.
Yeah.
And, like, that's all I kept thinking, because I also loved the movie King Arthur.
Yeah, dude. Shit, I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's another one that falls into this kind of range of like not throwaway, but maybe in that Sunday afternoon kind of movie like Starling was talking about, that you throw these movies on and you can kind of let them wash over you, and you're not going to nitpick them too hard.
Yeah.
You're just going to enjoy them for what they bring you. And I just kept thinking that, like, that's not Clive Owen, you know? But he plays this up so well. He goes and sits down, and I think I want to. I think I want to do punchable face.
No.
I'm sorry.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a Squire.
Yep.
I think it's a Squire.
Yep.
It's a
You can't
Squire,
punch
right?
him. He already got punched in Holiday, right? Like, we're not Rufus got punched, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Jasper. So Jasper's
Jasper.
already got it.
Yeah.
His Squire's probably the one.
His Squire's pretty punchable.
Man, I hate
Other
him.
than some of the blacksmiths, like, no, money first, you know, that kind of shit. But it's just like, I think it's him. I'm pretty positive.
The only other one I could possibly say was the guy that eventually arrests him.
He was the other one.
Yeah, he I don't like him at all.
You're here to be arrested.
All right.
Look at my hair.
Yeah. It's really dumb.
It's really dumb and bad.
Yeah. Well, he's just like, this guy's just like, milady, may I present Count Adma?
Jasper.
Jack
And then-
him in the face.
And then out of nowhere, he's just got a fucking hawk. He's just like, it's like, where'd you get a hawk?
it's part of the theatrics.
You know? I know.
It's a big deal.
It's just like,
People
my
have
thing.
not seen Hawks.
and who
back
was
then.
holding it for you this whole time?
Paul Bettany's got his thing. I got my hawk.
I got my hawk.
I got a Hawk. This used to work, but now it doesn't. Because Paul Bettany's out here fucking just nailing
Oh,
it.
dude, just absolutely
I
crushing
wondered
it.
if this would get old, and he gets better and
Yeah.
better every single time. In fact, I forgot a line. This line was when they rescued him from the debt collectors,
Oh, yeah.
and he's talking back to him, and he
Okay.
says, "I will eviscerate you in fiction. Every pimple, every character flaw. I was naked for a day. You'll be naked for eternity." The power of being able to use your words to cut deep inside of someone. Fuck, that is a great line. Like,
Yeah.
you could punch him and give him a bruise that will heal, and he'll forget all about it. But if you like find what kills that guy internally in his soul and go for it,
It's a great line.
you got him. You got him.
It's a great line. I'll stay on that for a second, because when he does get in and he kind of comes back for the like the swords and like that first sword battle that we really see him in, and he jumps in the ring after this, and he gives that speech, and he's just like, "Yeah, behold," he's like, "The Rock, the hard place," and you're just like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was real, though.
Yeah, it was.
The reaction was very real.
Oh shit! I read that.
Yeah, because they were Czech Republic
And
people.
they didn't know what he
They
said.
just didn't really know.
They didn't know what he was saying, and they didn't really know the cue, and they didn't know what to do at this point. And all these people, and they're like, "We walk in the garden of his turbulence."
Sir Ulrich,
And Mark
Dead silence.
Mark Addy really did go, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the real reaction. I read that and it blew me away. My favorite moment of maybe this entire movie.
They did that and that happened and they were like, well, that's brilliant. We need to film it. Now.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, the sentiment is the same.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so good.
That's hilarious. Not to keep jumping around on you guys, but like at the same time, Jasper mansplaining the rules to Joust. Why is this not that meme of the guy like with that chick at the sport event? Like just like
So the thing about Saruman is
like it's crazy. They're about to get like a double out, right? Like that kind of because the double out's when he throws it to second, but then he throws it to first, that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I love it. We get it. I don't want to be here anymore.
Sure, he says something like, I've never gotten dehorsed or whatever,
Yeah,
and she's like,
I've never been
neither have I.
It's like he's just
fucking
like,
idiot.
oh yeah.
I saw a meme recently where it was a picture of Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it just said like back in the 1950s, men would only see maybe one woman in their entire lifetime that's as hot as this, and they would go to war for her, and they would paint her picture on a plane, and they would write songs about her because it's like the most beautiful girl they've ever seen. They'll never see anyone like it. Nowadays, you just see like before you have breakfast, you see like 12 stepsisters that are like on doing OnlyFans that are hotter than Sabrina Carpenter, and just on your phone or whatever. And that's what I love about movies like this, where they both see her and they're like, and they'll do anything for the rest of their life to get her. But it's like modern times, you're like,
That's a good point.
Like you'll see the woman of your dreams 4 times in a day. In modern times,
the most beautiful woman you've ever seen,
Right.
is
now.
Yeah,
that's
is
so
downstairs
funny.
right now, or like
yes.
one click away.
Yeah, because
I have the X and XS app.
Yeah.
oh, nice, dude, nice. I do think of it because it's the same. It's not even just those two. There's like a gaggle of knights that walk by. They're like, I'll win this for you, my lady. No, I will win this. No, I want to win this. It's just like, shut up.
There's kind of Monty Python moments in this movie,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like that. Even there's that weird scene where I forget who's talking, but there's just a guy being hung in the background that's already dead.
Yeah.
And it's just there, and they don't even talk about it. It's just like, yeah, of course, it's the guy's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like when they're having the little fight.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I know.
That's very Monty Python to show it, but don't even talk about
Yeah.
it. It's just it's there. Who
It's just
cares?
there. It's a part of this world. It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
I
fine.
appreciate that shit a lot.
Even oh my god, I think that's the same scene when it's William and who's Bettany? Sorry, Chaucer.
Yeah.
When they yes, like it goes on forever, and then when she comes over, it's like, oh, she wants your presents, and he goes, I'm sorry, he's got it. He said no, no, I said yes. It's just,
Jeff, don't speak about things you know. Sorry, Malone.
it's fucking like it just kept me laughing. I mean, we're 30 minutes into the movie, 40 minutes into the movie, and I'm just like, I'm loving every second at this point.
Yeah, it's so rare to get a fourth character who kind of embroils so many, basically a lot of the characteristics of all 3 of the others. Right? He's got his flaws like Watt.
Yep.
His vices like Watt. He's grounded like Roland, and he's a dreamer like William. And it's very fun. It's a very refreshing role, and it's his responses and the way that he plays off of each one of them is why he's one of my favorites. His reaction to that of like, don't speak about things that oh, sorry, my lord, like that kind of shit. That's very, very funny. And same with he's talking about like what he's like, no what, and that's it. Like they're doing the dance thing. There's so many moments that are just so great between him and all of them. I think he is my favorite person in this movie. I'm gonna go out there.
Completely takes the movie over.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. And speaking of the dance scene, is that in this?
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
The Kate being like, I'll show you fuckers, idiots, how to dance. But I think that this scene is pure fucking cinema.
The dance scene?
This stupid music
Yep.
from back in the day slowly turning into Golden Years by David Bowie, and the dancing itself is pure fucking cinema, man.
I have a question for
This
you.
is as good as movies get, is
Yeah.
this scene.
Are they implying? I had a trouble with this one because they ask him to show the dance from his native country.
Yeah.
Goldenland, yes.
Yes,
Gryffindor.
and he does like 2 moves, and then she steps in and goes, "Let's do this." Are they like all doing some weird made up dance just from the 3 moves he showed, or are they now back into a traditional dance that then evolves into something modern? Does
I
it
think it's just
even
the power-
matter?
The power of David Bowie, man.
Yeah, does it
Yeah.
even matter? I don't think it does.
I like to go back. It probably doesn't. I just like to go back to the thought of like the way that they respond to music, the way that they would back then.
Okay.
To get to go to a banquet must be is very high society.
dressed up.
To get dressed. What's your tunic?
Yeah.
Green with kind of a green trim and wooden toggles. he's like, oh, it's a disaster. He's like, I think it'll look nice, quite nice actually. Very Nick Frost right there for a minute.
Definitely.
But no, like I like to think of that. It's like they're reacting and getting to dance.
yeah.
You don't get to dance
No.
every day back then. You know, it's not like the holiday where you just dance in
Here,
the
I
middle
got a
of the living
song.
room.
Let's play it.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
good.
you got to find the one guy in town
Yeah.
who knows how to play
I love that.
flugelhorn.
Yeah, exactly. You got to find the
He's
fucking
busy.
the flugelhornist so you can actually have a dance ditty, you know?
yeah.
So, no, that's why I like to continue to think about it, like how excited they get, and maybe they're all doing a dance that's known to this kind of high
Yeah.
society.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's just like
applying it.
the power of like letting yourself go while watching movies. It's just
Yeah.
like, just let this go, just let this happen, because it's a fun scene. David Bowie's playing right now, so shut the fuck
Shut
up.
up.
Don't
David
be talking
Bowie's
to me
playing.
right now.
Shannon Soseman just doing these little weird moves at the perfect.
Yeah,
You're like, oh.
doing the claps and like
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's going angel. It's perfect. I love this scene so much, but I love like the group. You seems more like together now. Like their dynamic is just so sweet together, I think. But you get more of the poetry from Will. You're like the Bible. I wish I could stop the moon and make this night and your beauty last forever. And I'm just like, oh. But man, you get that close up of Heath Ledger and like his dimples as he's smiling. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Son of a.
If anyone else said that, I'd be like, "You're fucking
Yeah.
stupid."
I would turn this movie off legitimately. Be like, this is really dumb.
Well, and then it turns into this like unbelievably sweet scene where they're all adding
Yes.
things in for him to say.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be just absolute beauty.
Yeah.
And hey, don't take it on yourself. Like, take from those around you. Like, we've all had experiences. We've all felt these unique moments. Like, here, use this, use that, use this. Like, that's
Yeah.
a pretty fun scene.
There's before we get onto like kind of the next part of it, I think that they're going through this dancing. If you look at this, if you kind of rewatch this and look at it from the point of, or focus a little bit more on Jasper, it's pretty funny to just kind of watch him constantly get put in his place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just moments where he's just like,
He's kind of like a Christopher McDonald in
Yeah, he is.
Happy Gilmore.
Okay, yeah.
At some
Great call.
points, yeah.
It is. It's like I ate pieces of shit like you for breakfast kind of lines,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's like, sir, you've forgotten, and people kind of chuckle, and he's just like, you know, he gets told constantly like, oh, like he's no form, but he's like fearless, and he just can never catch a break. He's like, yeah, show us a dance from where you're from.
And then it's the
And
greatest
then he's
dance
just
ever.
like, and you see him just go like, what the fuck is happening?
At one point, he's kind of like, yeah, look, this is pretty good.
Do you want to know what he really is? He's a peasant.
He's perfect, man.
He's a perfect
He's
man.
a perfect man.
He's going to play the Dark Knight someday. He's
Yeah.
going to play Joker.
He's Matt Wilson.
Yeah, it could have been awesome to
He's
have
got
Matt
Matt
Wilson.
So we get the Prince Edward kind of stuff. I love before this when he is jousting to like piss William off. Like, yeah, he lets his people starve while he dines at banquets, and he's like, probably did.
That's
Yeah.
Bullshitting him.
yeah. Just to get him riled up,
Yeah.
you know, all that shit. And the guy who plays the prince, but it's
James
Thomas
Purefoy?
Colville. Yeah, what is it?
James Purefoy is the actor.
Yeah, Thomas Jane Timu.
Thomas Jane Team. Okay, I was looking through his filmography, being like, don't recognize any of this, but I sure recognize that face.
Yeah, that was the same for me.
Man, and like, he's got the coolest armor.
Yeah, he does.
He's got the
I love
coolest
that,
armor.
that comes across the front side, kind
Yeah.
of blocks that view.
Yeah, it's like that kind of face guard thing, that like fence thing that
Yep.
swings open on his. I love it. He's got the coolest
cool
armor.
dude, man.
Oh yeah, he's a cool dude. You knew right away this dude's gonna be cool.
This dude's gonna be coming back around.
You know?
He's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I like them setting this up here
Yeah.
too, where Jasper is a motherfucker and was like, yeah, no, I won't do it because you're the best man.
He knows.
But
him
he's Jasper's
too
doing
well.
what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to not fight him.
Yeah.
But at least, William, whether he understands it or not, he's going against the grain. Like, he really wants to fight people, but he can't because they always find out who I am. Shit. So, like, I don't think William did it on purpose, but he did the right thing.
Yeah, and
by just
it's a cool like juxtaposition of those two characters as well. It's like,
Yes.
well, William is something that he's not too. He's not Sir Ulrich. He's William.
Yeah.
And so he gets it especially when they meet. But
they're
yeah.
both trying to be something that they're not. They're both trying to be the same thing, though. One is much higher on the tier, and
Yeah.
he is a lowly serf, if you will. And that's the cool thing. Hey, and that line, I think that's like later on that this was kind of the moment where it's like, did William recognize him on the first battle they had? When he says, when he comes up, he's like, I'm through, but I've never not finished before.
I don't think William knew
because he
who
kind
he
of
was.
like looks at him like, oh, like, who are you? But later on, it seems like they don't know who he is, because Paul Bettany has to go figure it out.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Yeah, I think that he never knew who he was.
Okay. I'll live with that, because I just needed an answer, to be honest.
There you go. I'm calling it.
Appreciate that, Michael.
Scene 4. During their courting, Jocelyn tells William that he must lose the tournament to prove his love to her. He does until she allows him to win. He does win the tournament, and Jocelyn's vagina. The group travels to London. Here, let me read that again. He does win the tournament and Jocelyn's vagina. Yeah. The group I forgot I wrote it, and it took me by surprise. That's in Wikipedia, guys. So I just took that straight
it's
from
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
The group travels to London for the World Championship.
You spelled
and
heart wrong.
and an important flashback to William's childhood is shown.
You
Guys-
spelled amazing rack wrong.
Your breasts. Your breasts are below your throat. And
Yeah, that's so good.
oh, wait, what do you want from me?
This is a gigantic red flag here, though, guys. This whole scene of how she wants him to lose, like this makes no sense. This is modern day equivalent of like, hey, I want you to completely fuck up at your job this week.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to get fired from your job this week to prove how much you love me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yep.
This is where I started to be like, I thought I stumbled onto like a 9 rating movie.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my, and then it just from here on out, it sort of went, okay.
That's like my wife Katie being like, "Oh, you're doing RoboCop today? Like, you love that movie, right? Well,
Erase your
if
notepad.
you loved me, you wouldn't do that today." Like, fuck.
Or it's the equivalent of her being like, let me see your notepad you've been taking for 4 days. Delete.
Yeah.
Be like, now do it.
Yeah, it's just kind of shitty, and I don't. But at the same time, I don't know why he's pissed at her for no reason. All of a
Right.
sudden,
Yeah.
it's just because she's like asking him like, "So, what are you gonna wear tonight?" He's like, "What the fuck do you want?"
Yeah. It's like
Be
he
a
does
bitch
it.
again.
Look,
God damn it, Katie, you're suffocating me.
damn it, kid, you're suffocating me.
My butt itches. That's exactly what this is.
It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean Adamar went to fight an actual war? I wanted to beat him.
What the heck are you talking about? Hey, we're soulmates, right? He's like,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, whatever. JJ, Watt, save me a waffle.
Well, save me a schnurker leg.
yeah.
Turker
A
leg.
snoogle
Save me a tandy cake with cream.
That's actually, I'm actually glad you brought up the war part. I was thinking about how weird it was that he went off to war.
Yeah.
But then he was so infatuated with with the jousting games. He's in fucking war, and all he's thinking about is jousting. I was trying to put that in a perspective of like another movie we've done. That would be like fucking Iceman from Top Gun, flying his fighter pilot in the Navy and like going up against MiGs and saving the world. But like every time he gets back to his cabin, he's like, man, the beach volley. I'm looking at these beach volleyball standings. And this fucking team is beating. They're beating all my records in beach volleyball. What the fuck is going on here? Like, it makes no sense that is like because clearly
He only took him 2 sets. Jesus fucking
Oh my
Christ.
God.
What the fuck?
Jasper doesn't even need to be involved in this. Jasper's just going to make his family marry her to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it. It's just stay alive in war, bro. And then
Ulrich.
Ulrich.
Ulrich. No.
He got the sports column from his page or whatever, like brought to him.
By
That's-
punchable face guy.
Yeah,
It was
by
just-
Yes, he
punchable.
did.
Yeah, he did. He basically got the sports pages
Yes, he did.
from the last couple of weeks, and he's like, oh God, he's that. And that's kind of like the same thing as either one of you being like, oh, Blackhawks, no, and like free company, leader of the free companies. It's like apparently you're just free to come and go as you please.
Correct, yes.
Is that what that means?
Yep.
Okay.
This is a really great way to film this too. The one take in the cathedral. Of
Oh,
her,
dude,
of
that
her
was awesome.
Giving this.
It was a big long
ultimatum.
water, wasn't it?
It was really cool, and it only cuts to a close up when she does give him the ultimatum. And
Yeah.
it's like this is important. Really cool filmmaking from Brian Helgeland. I think very underrated in this, where it is like a long or like a super wide shot
it just
too.
keeps going.
It's not like so far in, but
Which
like
means they could maybe fuck up a little bit
yeah,
on
the
dialogue.
staging of the
Yeah.
directing, everyone else walking
Yep.
by and everything is very impressive.
This is another point though of where you kind of have this. It's like beforehand. It's like, oh hey, what are you wearing tonight? It's like, I'm not doing this. Okay, I don't care about. Like I'm upset. I'm upset right now. Okay, and I don't want to go to banquet. Okay, I don't want to deal with that. And then it's like, then it's the letter stuff. It's like, well, I want poetry. It's like, I don't want to read. I don't want to recite poetry. I wrote it for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
I wrote it for a reason. And it's like, why demand? Why should it always be on a man's time? Why do you have to go there? Why do you have to make it about that? It's just like,
Oh, we're going there now.
oh, now it's man versus
Great,
women.
great.
Okay. Fine.
Fuck, we're different. All right, is that what you want me to say?
It's like, well, a man's time a day is busier. And like nowadays you're like, whoa, dude. Okay, equal pay, equal right. Like, hey man, same thing. But back then, he might have a point. I mean, she did just kind of travel there the whole time. It was just like, she's not doing a whole lot.
All she really does is
I mean, come on.
see people offer to win the games for her, and then she looks at her servant and is like, I'm fucking hot, right?
Nah, dude.
That's
Man,
all she does.
She is. They're like the mean girls up there. And by the way, then I just get to be thinking like after this really nice note that you're saying like they all really put their thing in there, and it's really beautifully written and it's really nice. They all kind of took from their own experiences, and after that, I just kind of expect the first thing to be after she really likes this and she's coming to France and all this. The first thing out of her mouth to be like, I've been talking to my friends lately. And, I just feel like you're supposed to lose. It's just like you've been talking to your friends.
Yeah.
You've been talking to your friends again, haven't you? They put you up to this shit.
I hate it.
This is ridiculous,
This is
lady.
stupid.
I just feel like you only do stuff for yourself.
I don't even think you care.
No,
You like winning more than me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's my job.
Well, I'm supposed to be good at it.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
When like he wins that tournament and then they head to London and that's when you get this flashback to learn more about his childhood. Man, this like kind of hit me kind of hard. Like when the kid,
Oh, I know.
the father gives him up, kid goes on there, and then it's like, now he like runs back to his dad. How will I know the way back home? It's like, fuck, I didn't expect you guys to go there, but you did. Uh-oh.
the dad, I think it's Christopher Casanovi, whatever. But the dad is extremely good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
As we'll get to in later scenes, I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it got me then and it gets me now. He's really, really good, and I really haven't
Yes,
seen
Christopher.
him in much else.
This whole this whole idea. He has that moment too where I think it's when he takes the shot to the head, takes off his helmet or whatever from Adamar. Kind of gives him that first initial one, and then it comes into this one where they're on the ferry, and I like the little kid.
Yeah,
he's really good in this, and he's just got that very like that little innocent look about him, like he's just been trying to do his best. And his dad's been trying to do his best, and they're just like, it's all I can do for you. It's like, this is literally all I can do for you is basically get you out of here. And it's kind of a hard
if you think about
scene.
Having to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Actually, did you hear there's a fan theory.
There better be.
That's actually
I
pretty
did
good.
not hear this.
This came from Reddit. Somebody, Empire and Co. They theoreticize. Yes, that William knows that he has a hereditary degenerative blindness disease. And at the beginning of the film, the first observation made of his jousting style by Adamar is that he doesn't tilt his head back as if he has no fear of going blind. We're led to believe it's because Will is young and reckless. The theory says that William is reckless but calculated because he knows he's already going to go blind someday. William's father gives his son away because his father was totally economically capable of looking after his son and teaching him a trade, but his eyesight was going already at that point before he could pass on the trade. So he gave his son to a man who could raise him with adequate resources and not be a burden to his son. Towards the end of the film, when trying to discover the fate of his father, William is more surprised to learn that his father is still alive than blind. The blind thing's like, oh yeah, he's blind, but like he's alive.
Yeah.
So like he knew the degenerative blindness ran in his family, and it would eventually get him too. Got his father. His friends make jokes and puns and metaphors about how William is blind, or they'd prefer that he's blind, essentially meaning that he told them about his future condition. This is the reason why William's so unfearful of a jousting stick splintering his eyes. He either wins or he goes blind, as he was destined to. His urge is to change his stars. And it's so strong because he knows that if he can't get the social standing and wealth that he needs before he starts going blind, there's no hope for him, just like there was without his dad. So I think that's an interesting way to think about an underlying condition of William, of why he's so obsessed with like, I gotta go after this.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't turn himself in. He's like, no,
Even with Jocelyn, it's just like, I got to get the hottest woman because when I go blind, I need to know that I have the hottest woman.
I need to know. Yeah. I
ain't getting married after I'm blind.
After I'm blind. No.
You know?
Come on now.
No way,
Who
man.
knows what that hog could look like?
Yeah. Jeez. Oof. You never know. And no, I like that though, because I just like that it draws a lot of the mention of eyes, and
there's a lot of talk about
talk about the eyes, but then it also makes me think of like Hot Shots, and he's just like, I have my father's eyes. It's just like,
see,
it's like, you have his eyes. It's like, I know. I am gonna go blind one day.
And this again, when it starts, I started to cringe again. They get to London, and the fucking boys are back in town starts, and I'm like, and then 5 seconds in, I'm like, fuck yeah!
Some
they
ribs,
are.
dude. Some fucking ribs.
Because it starts right there on the ferry, and they're like, there it is, London. Like, oh, man.
Did you catch that aerial shot of London too? They made a it wasn't CGI. They made this model. It cost $500,000 of an old London landscape. That it's like this big panning shot, and in the distance, there's a fucking Ferris wheel. The London Eye is there. Like, you know, the big Ferris wheel that's in London? It's there in this shot, but it's like a smaller wooden
But they
version.
did like a...
They just made like a fake wooden version of it to put it as a joke.
That's okay. So it's like an homage to modern day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they're sort of implying...
Not that it
like,
actually existed back then.
Yes, because this is like 14th century, 15th century that this is actually taking place, and it's somewhat historical. But yeah, the fact that they're just like, extra $5,000 to put that wooden Ferris wheel in there?
500 or that
500,000 is what the whole thing cost.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
But instead of doing CGI, I don't know, I guess it wasn't that memorable because you guys can't picture it in your head.
Well,
but
maybe
like,
it was just so seamless.
yeah, exactly.
I just didn't pick it out.
But it's still fun that they do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
I like that a lot. You
kind of
guys,
adds to the homage of the music, even that
Yeah,
we
definitely.
keep getting. So
you guys say you like him as the young William or whatever. I think the kid's okay. I don't like that he sees himself as a little boy when he gets to London. I'm like, didn't need that.
probably didn't need that.
Didn't need that. Do love Thin Lizzy right after this, and it like kind of quelled that like. I don't like that.
Hey, Sean, we're good.
Okay,
here,
cool.
have this. Boys are back in town.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Thank goodness.
They're observing Sean if he likes the movie. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
They're always watching
Boys
me, man.
boys are back in town. Give it to him.
Yeah.
Play.
right.
Cut someone's head off. Cut someone's head off right now.
Well,
Bowie.
they could have. You're right. They could have omitted just the fact that he does kind of see himself for that moment.
You mean like when the quick change when the flag goes by? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's like he kind of changes, but then it goes back to the kid, and it's the other kid again.
Yep.
It could have just been that moment that they could have just had a connection between him and that kid.
Yeah.
Because eventually that kid turns on him. You know,
Yeah, he does.
He turns on him when he's
True.
in the stocks. So it's like kind of makes for enough of a point as it is. We didn't have to have that.
Don't turn on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
'cause
yeah.
I'm you.
Oh yeah.
You're me.
Right?
Oh,
Wait.
don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, man. That's what this is.
That's what this
movie's
means.
about.
That's what this means.
All right, final scene. So after winning a few battles, William returns to his old neighborhood and finds his long-lost father. This is when Jasper finds out about the truth about William and reports him. William is apprehended and jailed. His friends try to help him, but it takes Prince Edward's appearance and pardon William, and he pardons William and knights him in the process. William jousts Jasper and is injured by an illegal lance. Unable to compete properly, he removes all his armor and defeats Jasper to win the tournament. It's really hard to say Jasper when it's not written down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
Just think of it as vagina.
You tell me your thoughts on this. I think I kind of caught you earlier. This reconnection scene with his dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It really works, and it like the dude's acting is incredible. I'm just like, oh my god. I don't know if it's like because he's blind. I'm just like extra susceptible to like
Yeah.
someone with an ailment, I guess, or
That could be.
he's kind of elderly But I think it's everything. I think that it's a build-up, and he hasn't seen him in a while, and Heath Ledger's performance along with him. It just works, and I'm like, I cried when I saw this the first time, and I cried when I saw this for this review. It works.
It's interesting because I thought he was gonna not tell him. Like I thought William was gonna be like, yeah, I'm bringing word of your son, and he just wanted to make sure his dad was okay, and then be like, I don't need to burden him with me.
Right.
But then the fact that the dad realizes it's him without him saying it,
Yeah.
it's just beautiful scene.
Oh, that kind of like fall. He's like, did he change his stars? And he's like,
yeah.
yes, he did. He did. And he's like,
No,
and you're just like, and you're just like,
give him a hug. Give him a hug. Do it.
it's like trying not to let the wells to fall from your eye. Like, and he just like, and he kind of reaches out for him, and then then it gives that moment back to Heath Ledger to kind of have that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, what a note. But then he's like, they're kind of talking. I love that they're having this kind of bonding moment. He's like, I mean, you're doing great. It's like, that's awesome. It's just great. He's like, you hitting a bunch of chicks.
You hitting some, bro?
Dude, you getting laid?
You hitting
Bro.
Spill the tea.
the Thatcher way,
come on.
dude.
How is
I saw
it,
your
huh?
dong when you were a kid, man.
How's
You're
the-
doing good.
How the honeypot's treating you? Huh?
You know how we do. Thatcher gets snatcher, man.
Yeah. Thatchers or snatchers. Come on, man. It never leaves you. You can change your snars. You can't change your blood, brother. Let's do it. Woo!
Jaeger?
Yeah.
You want some Jaeger, man?
Dude, let's have some Jaeger, brother.
Yeah, man. You're crazy, dude. Jaeger? Wow.
Crazy, dude.
Whoa, man.
Germans? I don't know.
Huh?
Whoa.
Huh? Dude, he's just like, yeah, I want to meet her as well. Why?
Yeah.
You can't see her. So calm down. He's like,
I can smell her.
he could bring anyone by and just,
Yeah, here she is.
here she is.
Hi. It's just like someone completely different.
I do have a question for you though. Maybe you understand this. Like he's captured. He doesn't turn himself in. There's that big ordeal. He's arrested by a punchable face. He's put into that little gallows deal, and the crowd's turning against him. And Prince Edward shows up. Was he really from a royal ancient bloodline? He's like, it's been found. Our historians have found that he's from a royal ancient bloodline, and thus he shall be knighted and released. It's like, is he really?
I got the feeling that he's not, and he's just like, I'm gonna knight you.
Why can't he? He's the fucking prince. Why can't he just be like, guys, he's a great guy. He's a knight.
He's way cooler than a lot of the other knights I've actually met in life, and he's a good dude. So
you guys loved him less than 24 hours
yeah.
ago. You know how good he is.
Yeah, if anything, you guys all suck. But this
Whose
guy's
kid
cool.
is this?
Yeah.
Fucking kick him out.
Yeah, dude, you're still wearing the face paint. Okay?
Yeah,
like,
see?
what are you talking about?
You got all your posters still.
Yeah,
bro.
dude. Like, no, you're right though, because at one point he does say, he basically tries to just like, he's like, my word is uncontestable, or whatever he says. So it's like he makes a point to say, you can't contest what I say. We found out he's of a royal bloodline.
Correct.
And I'm going to knight him. So it's like, okay.
Right, whatever.
By the way, like, they kind of show up and he's like, he's in like the robes or whatever. And this is England. And so is it like but then he's up on the throne later on. I feel like people would recognize him even though he's just in a robe.
Just in a robe.
He's literally the prince.
He's pretty reckless. He's like trying to joust. He's just walking around with the peasants.
I mean,
come on, Prince.
You wear a huge black robe with a hood on like that, you're gonna stand out anyway.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, there's 3 of these guys. Who are those
The
guys?
fuck? They must be up to something.
Oh,
Yeah, I
weird.
wonder what
are they doing?
Man, those guys seem shady.
They're not here for the jousting.
Hey, why aren't those guys like poor and begging like everyone else here?
They don't look hungry.
Yeah.
They don't look hungry.
Their posture's too good. It's like, I don't know. It's just, like, it's one of those things of like, all right, I guess you're just here and then you're there. It's all right. It's whatever.
And now you're out.
Why
now
am I
you're out.
fighting it?
Yeah,
why am
don't
I
just let
fighting
it go.
You're right.
Yeah, then you get finally we get to see it, and I'm just wondering, like, there's probably rules against making a spear, an illegal spear, out of the end of your jousting stick.
Yeah.
To where like he could get speared by it, and then everybody could be like, judges, come over here, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look what just happened. And they'd be like, oh yeah, well he did that and game over.
Can't do that.
Yeah, like
What's going on here?
Where's all the officials, the ones that like throw the flags and like do that? You know, they have the flags there.
Offside,
and
reset.
Other guys, and it's just like, oh, illegal tipping. It's just like
Illegal tipping.
illegal tipping. It's just like one flag penalty, and then you go over. Instead of them being like, oh, he's tipped it. It's like, no,
take that over and
Show
go
that
look
to
what
him.
happened, guys.
And by the
look
way,
there's a tip inside of him.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, and and ahead of that, he's talking to like this girl. It's like, you sure it's good? It's like, yeah, it's just spun sugar and that's it. And he just goes in front of everyone.
Yeah, but then
right.
did they just have a second one to put on top of there,
Yeah.
or what's going on?
My wife was asking me this, and I'm like, I don't know.
Shut up! Just don't. Just
Like,
don't.
we can't at this point.
We're already 2 hours in. Like, we just need to end this.
It's
movie,
Jasper.
okay?
We want to see him get fucking bitch slapped
And
or
he
knocked
does.
off a horse. Yeah.
It is one of those things. All we needed was they could have taken like several different times. We had these moments where it was like implied that he did something with the tip of his jousting spear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So just do that. Don't have him break it right in front of us and
Yeah.
everyone else. Have him look back up at the thing. Is it ready? Yeah, it's just spun sugar and like whatever. And yeah, boot polish or whatever. Great. That's all we needed to know. And then we find out. Why?
Let me find out for myself.
Yes. Yes.
It's tipped with lead, so it's gonna kill him slowly
Yeah.
later on.
Cool.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. The medicine's not great. Like, is he going to survive this?
True.
Do we
It's
know
an
that he makes
infection
it?
waiting to happen.
Do we know that he makes it out of
yeah.
this?
Hope we got a tetanus shot.
Well, I
'Cause-
mean, when he does defeat Jasper, he leaps right over that dividing thing like nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
Yep, I'm better now.
hell yeah.
I think he even used that arm that he couldn't hold anything with to like grasp her face when they were
Yeah.
kissing. It's like, well, I get it. That'll make you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You'll figure it out.
The Power of Love.
Power of Love.
And AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
Works.
I mean,
it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
No.
Don't do that. Don't. They did it. It fucking works. Okay. Good call.
It's the it's that. Yeah. Just the big William. That is again. It's just kind of one thing I never understood why he screams it there at him. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, well, it's whatever.
No, he's just. I like the sentiment of it. It was like he was hiding from his name the entire movie, and like Watt of all people is just like, that's your name.
That's your name, bro.
Sir William.
It's your father's name.
Yeah,
it's your
they're
name.
chanting your name, and it's a great turnaround of like now he can truly be himself, I guess, and to like scream his own name is a little cheesy, but it's just like it's also like I said a nice sentiment of just. No, I'm proud to be who I am.
Yeah. Well, the sentiment you said there right there is, he was hiding from his name for so long, and then now I get it. Thank you for making this movie and moment better, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
Because that just happened.
Well, and you might call it cheeseball, but I just absolutely love that Chaucer at the end says, "I think I'll write this down." And if you read the Canterbury Tales, which is Geoffrey Chaucer's most famous book that he actually wrote in real life, Knight's Tale is the title of the first chapter of the book. And I didn't catch it at first because they kept calling him Jeff. Yeah. So I didn't realize that they were implying that this is Geoffrey Chaucer, like the Geoffrey Chaucer. But it's a nice touch.
And until I watched with subtitles, I always thought he was saying like Charleston or something.
Charleston.
Charleston?
Charleston.
Jeffrey Charleston? Like Charleston.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know who you are or whatever, but
I don't like subtitles when this movie started. I go, I'm going to need it.
I'm going to need these ones.
I'm going to miss something. I know I will.
I'm going to need these. Yeah, and the other thing too was just kind of a fun little bit of history, showing through, is he says, I think I'll write about this. And there is a point, like a year or two, where Geoffrey Chaucer, there's no record of where he was or what he was doing, and they say that this is based on that time, and then he wrote.
Love it.
I think that's so. I think
Very
that was
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, anything else you boys want to talk about?
That's it for me.
We have dissected A Knight's Tale with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. AJ, what did you think about it?
Subtitles. Anyways.
AJ, what did you think about it?
Oh, thank God. Okay. No, dude, I thought I actually still revisit this movie pretty often, even before I found out we were going to do it. And when I found out that we were going to do it, I was super excited. This is on my list of movies that I wanted to do, coming up. I put it on the list. I wanted to do the movie. I wanted to see if I could get it somewhere in there last year. I'm so glad we're doing it right now. And
thanks to Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. It's one of those movies that I'm always happy to revisit it. I'm always happy to throw it on. I don't have to watch the entirety of the movie, but I'm just as happy watching the entirety of the movie. The characters are fun. I think that's what keeps me so enthralled. And there's a lot of elements to this movie that you just shouldn't like. It falls very much in line with like The Holiday. In that same kind of vein. Why do I like this movie? I don't know, but I do, and I'm not going to question it anymore. And I think that's the best way I can explain it. I just think that this movie deserves everything that it gets, and I think it's a shame that it's only set at a 7. I understand probably why it is, but I do think it deserves more than that. So I am going to give it a 7.7.
7.7 for AJ. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, man. This happens sometimes when we cover movies where I was watching this movie and I'm like, I'm having a good time, but it's definitely not as good as I remember. And like some of the scenes are kind of irking me a little bit. But then I start doing research and see that Brian Helgeland, like I forgot that Brian Helgeland did this movie, and what he's gone through as a filmmaker is pretty shitty with Payback and everything. And then to come back with this movie, which is just such a joy, and to hear that they had such a great time making it and were so joyful on set, and then it all came together like it does. It made me like it even better, and obviously talking about it with you guys made me like it even better. This is a perfect Sunday afternoon hungover. Just give it a watch and hang out and try and feel better, and this movie will help you feel better. It's very well made. I think it's very well acted on all points. It's emotional at parts. It's very funny at parts. There's little tiny things here and there, like when he is losing, and it's the montage of the wood coming down on his group, and she catches it.
Funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
I'm right along with you, AJ. 7.7.
Right on.
This movie's great.
That's great. I mean, you guys nailed it. For my first watch, I was expecting to just totally hate it, and it pleasantly surprised me. My only hang-ups are that the storyline, like the lose storyline, if you love me, like I didn't like that at all, and I didn't like how long it was. I felt like it could have been shorter. They could have cut off like 25 to 30 minutes, avoided a couple scenes, and we would have been fine. But yeah, this is what it is. It's just a very funny movie that was kind of caught in lightning in a bottle sort of a thing. It's definitely nowhere near perfect, but it's awesome. I'm glad I watched it. I'll be a 7.43. We got to go to Michael Guiliano. So I went into this knowing the basic gist of the movie. Guy pretends to be a knight to fight in tournaments and impress the girl. Has to wrestle with lying to her and faces other obstacles along the way. Sounds pretty formulaic. But you know why things are formulaic? Because formulas are tried and tested, and when done right, they work. And this movie just works. This movie is the perfect blend of historic and anachronistic. As soon as I heard the opening beats of We Will Rock You, I knew I was going to be in for a good time. And I liked the director's rationale for using music like that throughout the movie. The entire soundtrack was A+ from the beginning. So the reason I watched the movie, Heath Ledger. He really does have a commanding presence throughout the film. He's the emotional core of the entire thing, and he plays his part amazingly, although he needed to lose those dreadlocks about 15 minutes faster. Agreed. The bits with his father felt a little bit schmaltzy, but I didn't care. By the end, I still teared up when he was crowned a proper knight and won his tournament in front of his dad. Alan Tudyk will always be one of my favorite that guy actors, and though he doesn't have much to do here, he's always good for some comic relief. Paul Bettany is dashing and charismatic without stealing too much attention away from Ledger. Mark Addy plays the supportive best friend we all need in life, a decade before he needs the breastplate stretcher on Game of Thrones. Also, another quick Game of Thrones cameo, the old clergy guy with the fancy ring would go on to play Mace Tyrell. I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Overall, this was just a solid movie with a motivational message, great production value, a stacked cast, and a killer soundtrack. I regret waiting so long to watch it, and I can't wait to keep it in my stable of movies to watch regularly now. Modern day rating, 8.25.
Nice.
Friends,
Big time.
that takes us to a 7.77 for this modern day rating. 7.77 all alone in the 70th spot. That's going to be below Monster Squad, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Little Shop of Horrors, above Airplane, That Thing You Do, Men in Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we're putting it.
I'm with
okay.
it. 7.77 at the 70th spot.
Ranked 7.0 on IMDb.
Wow.
Lucky sevens.
Sevens,
Sixes
baby.
and sevens.
6s and 7s tonight, Chaucer.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. It is time for us to go see A Man About a Dog, so we got to get out of here. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We're going to be doing Heat, voted on by our Patreon members, followed up by Demolition Man with a special guest. If you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. Empire Records.
Hey.
Surprisingly enough, great episode, but maybe we didn't like that one as much as some of the masses like that movie.
Yeah.
It's weird to have a movie about a record store and have an absolute dog shit soundtrack. So go check that one out.
Some things were brought to light that we wish weren't brought to light about that movie, but that's what you get here on the Confused Breakfast, guys. 7.77, lucky 7 on A Knight's Tale. Check us out on YouTube. Join us on the YouTube. Get all the visual gags and hang out with all of our cool stuff here that you guys keep sending us. We appreciate it. Give us the 5 stars and a rating while you're listening. You don't have to stop listening. You can just do the 5 stars on Spotify. Leave us a review if you want. Leave a comment. All that good stuff. And by all means, check us out on the social media. Confused Breakfast. Just search for Confused Breakfast.
Holy shit, we did it. It's an hour and 33,
finally broke the
35
curse.
minute kind of episode. Wow. You could see our merch at our store, confusedbreakfast.com. You can see the shirts that we have. You can get the new ones. Get the new ones. They're fun. They're awesome. you can go to the same damn website to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered on this show. You can see what I thought. You can see what AJ thought. You can see what Mike thought in number forms. And then you can see what we all thought as a show overall. I fucking love you. Goodbye.
Ryan on the controls from Upload Media Group. Learn more about Upload Media Group at uploadmediagroup.com in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and check out our network, cloud10.fm. They are fantastic people. Got to go check out that dog.
Yep, gotta go
There's
see
a
a man
guy.
about a dog.
There's a guy, and he's. I guess see him about that dog.
There's a dog. What are we talking about?
Got to go see a man about a dog.